So a few days ago I posted a video controlling a devastator tank, which is a Python client, via a hub which is hosted in Azure, C# hub, and that was being controlled via a JavaScript client in a web browser using an Xbox 360 controller. Okay. And I thought that was pretty cool. And so there's videos up there, and you can sort of see this tank driving around, and a live video feed coming from the PyCam. But one thing that did occur to me was there seems to be a lot of videos of people doing really cool stuff, and often forgetting to actually link the code or the scripts or exactly how it's been done. There's obviously lots of videos that do go through the steps and sort of give you all that information, but I kind of realised that I'd fallen into the trap of saying, hey, look what I've done, and they're not actually letting anybody else explore how it worked. I felt a little bit sad. What I want is to sort of have an idea and sort of a bit of a hack at it and chuck it out into the ether and let you guys have a play with it. Either learn from it or tell me to do something different so I can learn from you guys. In fact, that's even more important because there's millions of you and one of me, and I think it'd probably be better if I learned from you guys. So ultimately I wanted you guys to have a sort of a look through, or the chance to, if you wanted to, have a look through how I've done it and rip it apart and either use it yourself or instruct me how to do it better. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put the code in GitHub, public repo, so anyone can just pull it down. It's a command center from that bloke called Jay, that's me. I'll put a link to all this stuff, alright? And everything you need is right there. So I'm going to go and clone that down onto my computer right now. Right, so I've got the repo here on my machine. So just a few disclaimers, right? I'm using Windows 10. This was written in Visual Studio 2019, but I'm about to demo it in Visual Studio 2017. The hub itself is a .NET Core 2.2 project, alright? And I think that's all you need to know for that. So I'm going to fire up the project now in Visual Studio 2017. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is switch out IIS Express for the Command Center Hub profile, and then I'm going to fire up the hub. Okay, so we now have our hub listening out on these ports, HTTPS, HTTP. We're going to be using WebSockets, however, for this demo we're going to need to remember localhost 5000. So just go ahead and copy out localhost 5000. That may vary on your machine, okay? So in our web client, just open out www.root.js and open up the site.js file. Okay, and you'll see here hub URL. Just make sure that this port matches the port that you've got listed for your HTTP guy here. Alright, so if that's HTTP 1234, make sure that that is 1234. Okay, that's fine. So let's go and fire up the web client itself. Let's start like that. Okay, so this is purple square, and this is the JavaScript client, controller client. And by controller, it literally is that this is a client that sends commands to actors, and actors are things to be controlled. Okay, so you can send controls in a couple of ways at the minute. So you can move your mouse over the purple square, and when you click your mouse button, you'll see that this guy goes green. and you'll be transmitting those access values. Okay, it's also touch enabled, so if you've got it on a mobile phone, you scroll like normal, but if you're on the purple square and you touch, it'll send the axes, so you can actually do it from a mobile phone as well, which is kind of cool, right? And also there's controller input as well. So at the moment there's nothing in this drop down list, but if as soon as you sort of have a controller, for example I'm using the Xbox 360 controller, which is all I've tested it on, as soon as you move something on the controller, the script will recognize it and populate your drop down list. Okay, you may get other different bits and bobs in here. I noticed that when I plugged it into my laptop I sort of had these unknown controller inputs which didn't seem to do anything. I'm not too sure what they were, but if you just go ahead and select the controller you want, click controller input, and then this guy here will manipulate the axis values here. Okay, so in the demo JavaScript file that's been provided in the repo, there's actually 3 clients being registered. There's one control client, which is the purple square guy here, and then behind the scenes there's also 2 actor clients. Okay, and you'll see command, actor alpha, and actor bravo. Devastator, I'll come on to that in just a second. This is just so that you can have a play right now without worrying about Python or the Devastator or anything like that. It's going to enable you to send commands from the purple square via the hub and then back into one of these 2 actor clients here. Okay, so if you open up DevTools, okay, and go to console, alright, and you'll see here that's when the JavaScript recognised the gamepad, okay, and then added it to this list. Anyway, if you click on connect, there we go, we've got actor alpha registered, control registered, which is this guy, and actor bravo registered. So these 2 actors are also registered as well. So if I send commands, I'll just via the mouse to actor alpha, you'll suddenly see actor alpha displaying messages that he's received. Okay, so what's actually happening here is this guy, the purple square, is sending messages to the hub, and the hub, based on the ID of this ID, actor alpha, that's his ID, the hub is then sending the message back to that actor or that client. Okay, if I just open up the JavaScript quickly, let's have a quick look. So at the moment there's a hub client, okay, and this is responsible for sort of connecting itself and receiving messages and so on and so forth. And so basically when it connects, we get this sort of on message handler, okay, and let's say we receive a move command, it will print out its name, okay, it being the client, and also the coordinates that it's removed. That then, so its name, actor alpha, okay, and the coordinates it's removed, received. So if I switch that back over to actor bravo, we should now get bravo receiving the information. Yeah, there we go. I've lost that. And then enable your input controller input, and if you swiggle about on your joystick, those coordinates will sort of start jumping around like that. So that's the JavaScript client talking to the hub. Okay. The JavaScript is ES6, by the way, so you need to make sure that you are able to run ES6 JavaScript. I'm using the latest version of Chrome. I've only tested it in Chrome, I've not tested it in any other browsers. So the next thing to do, I suppose, is get it onto the Raspberry Pi and get the Python client working as well. So how do I go about doing that? So the Python is going to connect to the hub the same way that the JavaScript client does, but because we've got the hub running locally on our machine, localhost, and I've not deployed it to Azure, we're going to require another tool to expose our localhost via a public address. Okay, and that's called Ngrok. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to go and set up the Python, all right? Set up the Raspberry Pi. So however you decide to connect to it, you basically, from the repo, there's Python apps here. These are the two scripts that you're going to need. So depending on however you connect to your Python, you want to just copy them in. I've got mine down on a network, so I'm just going to go and do that. Pi. Okay. And I'll just create a new folder. This is my Raspberry Pi now. New folder on there, and we'll call that demo. Cool. And I'm going to copy these two files. What's next? Ngrok. Okay, so I need to create a tunnel for Raspberry Pi to be able to talk to my hub, my local host hub, which was this guy here, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to go using Ngrok. I'm going to create a tunnel. And literally all I need to do is, there it is, Ngrok TCP in the port that we want. Okay, so which is 5000. So I'm going to go and create a tunnel. There it is. Okay, it's really as simple as that. So I'm going to come back to that page in just a second. The URL we're going to want is that bit there. Okay, but we're going to be changing TCP for WS WebSocket. All right. So let's get onto the Raspberry Pi. So I'm using a Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. On that I'm using the Adafruit MotorHat, okay, and I've got Raspbian installed. Python version 3.2 maybe? Hang on a second, I'll confirm that now. .53, okay, so I'm using that version of Python, alright? So, I'm going to go back to this, and like I said, the URL I'm going to need is that bit there. Okay, so let's go ahead and just copy that. Okay. I'm then going to open up the script on the Python. Raspberry Pi, for goodness sake. Demo, I'm going to open up Devastator Hub client, alright? Down at the bottom, you'll see here, WebSocket app and the URL, your hub address. Place the Ngrok address. So that is now pointing to publicly exposed address right here, okay? But not TCP if you want it as WS, because it's a WebSocket connection, alright? If everything's alright, we should be able to save that and run it. So back into our back onto the Raspberry Pi. I think it's put that into demo, I think. Yep, demo. Okay. And what you want to do is run the Devastator hub client. Fingers crossed. There we go, that's it. Connection open, registering on network, registered, message received. Don't worry too much about that. Okay, so let's just go and move this over here and stick that over there like this, because what we're going to get now is in our purple square, drop this down to Devastator, and it's been configured that the ID this is registered with has also been set as the ID of this option as well. So when I go to move, oh wait, so I'm using the controller, right? So let's take the controller off. When I go to move on the purple square, this is the Devastator of the Python script. The Raspberry Pi is now receiving these commands. Alright? And you'll notice that the values here should mirror the values here. These values then get piped into the motor controller script, and then your Pi starts moving. And what I mean by that is, we go back to our scripts again on the Pi and we open up Devastator Hub client to edit. It's actually ready to go. So here on line 61, if you uncomment Devastator move and comment out the print, save that guy. Alright. Just minimize that. I'm going to stop the script again and start it again. These commands will now be sent to the motors. So I'm going to enable controller input, and if you listen, take it out. In fact, hang on a second. There, look. Obviously, all right. So. Oh, this camera sucks. Like, it's not funny how much this camera sucks, by the way. Microsoft Live Studios or Livecast, I think, it sucks so bad. So ultimately, all that stuff is in the repo for you to play with. The code's all there. Let's have a quick look here. Where was it now? Desktop. Demo. So in the repo, it's got everything you need. The hub test, and the client. That's all the C# hub. That's the C#. That's all the C# stuff up in these two hubs. The web client is just a standard web app with the JavaScript is in www.js site.js. Okay, so that's all the code you'll need to start playing around with creating a JavaScript client controller and a client actor. Down here is the gamepad stuff, which I got from this URL. I'll use a GitHub IO gamepad test, and then I've stripped it down to the bits that I need. So that's all the JavaScript stuff you can play with there. Yeah, the hub stuff's all here, so that's all C#, and then again the Python scripts are all right here. So please have fun. Download the scripts, have a play, get it working, get in touch, let me know your thoughts. If you're a Python developer and there's better ways to do things, I'd love to hear from you. I want to learn from as many people as possible. I hope there's either food for thought for you guys, or information, or maybe just things that you may not have thought of. And if there's, like I said, there's things that you are thinking of, let me know, because I want to learn from you guys as much as I hope you can get something from this. So have fun, and yeah, just keep coding, man.